All right, hello and welcome to this week's Feminine Forecast. This week on the forecast, I'm going to be talking about the upcoming Leo full moon, as well as doing a general collective reading with some of my favorite, I'm looking over at them, some of my favorite oracle and tarot decks. So if you're new to me and new to the channel, I'm Karen Monaco. I'm a mystic and intuitive guide, and I support the divine feminine in stepping fully forward into their spiritual mission and creating heart-aligned businesses. So if you are up for that and you are here for that, go ahead and hit subscribe on the channel so that you get notified each and every time I release a new video, which I'm doing more regularly. And you might notice if you've been hanging around for a while that the Feminine Forecast this week looks completely different. Usually I have a very official looking and, let's call it what it is, rigid looking PowerPoint presentation, and I kind of have notes and all that. And I really got this very strong call to let all of that go, to stop hiding my face and to start showing myself more. So this is the first week where I'm putting myself out there in a new way. Feels really good. And I didn't intend on sharing that with you, but you guys know that I love vulnerability and transparency. And I am very open to sharing the back end as well as the front end of my process. But let's get into the upcoming energies, or this week's energies. So we do have a Leo full moon happening on February 16th. When the moon is full in Leo, just be prepared for some things to arise in regards to your leadership, your creativity, your king-queen archetype energy, your sovereignty, as well as the divine or the inner child. So some very, very big themes. Don't expect all of those things to come to the surface and to kind of be hit with them. Notice which ones really kind of ping for you, which ones make you kind of lean in, and just know that that's probably what you're going to be seeing over the next couple of days or experiencing and feeling within yourself. So with this full moon in Leo, there's a couple of things that are going to happen. First of all, the full moon is really when a lot of our manifestations begin to come into physical form. So just pay attention to intentions and desires and longings that you've put out into the world over the past couple of moon cycles. Notice how they're starting to present themselves. For some, it might be a full-fledged 3D manifestation. If you've been manifesting a romantic partner, you might meet them in the flesh right around the full moon. Or if you've been manifesting, maybe some support in your business, you might start to really see some new coaches or some new content creators that are resonating with you in a whole new level on social media. Okay, so just watch for how it's coming in. Trust that you will not miss it, is what I'm being guided to share with you right now. Now, the full moon is also a fantastic time of releasing limiting beliefs, patterns of behavior that sabotage us from really living and receiving the life that we want. It's also a time of just letting go and also being grateful. So how that might look over the next couple of days is really seeing what is standing between you and fully stepping forward into that spiritual mission. What's blocking you from, declaring yourself, because Leo does have this Leo is a bright light, has no problem performing or stepping forward and speaking up. So you might start to notice what is literally blocking you energetically within yourself. Maybe for some of you, what barriers are in place that are external in nature. What's blocking you from being, from answering the call to be a healer, a spiritual leader, a guide, a mentor, a reader, whatever it is. What is blocking you from stepping forward into your spiritual mission? Or, because I know a lot of you are in mission, what's blocking you, preventing you, kind of acting and functioning like a little bit of a stop sign from taking it to that next step or that next level? And what I would suggest with you is receive it and then just kind of sit with it. A lot of times, what I've noticed on my own journey, as well as the journey of those I support, that sometimes just recognizing it starts the process of changing it. It's not about doing anything differently or changing things up. Sometimes it just kind of resolves itself. And I'm being guided to share that with you today. just checking in with my notes before I get into the cards to make sure I haven't missed anything. And then let's talk a little bit about healing. Okay, because Leo is the sign of the inner child and the divine child, a lot of the healing that we're called to do during this full moon is going to be playful in nature. So if you tend to take things very seriously, I mean, I will be the first one to acknowledge I take life very seriously, and I'm working on lightening up quite a bit. But if you're with me, if you're like me, then this coming full moon is going to reveal ways that you can play a little bit in order to heal those inner child wounds. All right, which I think is sounding really, really exciting now that I've surrendered that, or now that I've accepted that I take life very seriously. I can kind of surrender to the healing process and allow these fun and exciting new ways of digging into my wounding and allowing them to heal through play. I openly receive them. Okay. All right, so that is what I have for you. You know, actually, that's not all I have for you in regards to this full moon. So back in January, I released the February forecast. And the card that we're working with in February is the card of Strength, which is also the card of Leo. So if you feel called, make sure you go back, revisit those themes and those ideas, because there was a lot in that forecast that really helped us as divine feminine leaders and healers and light workers understand what's transpiring, what's at play currently. And the strongest message that I'm receiving in the here and now is that call to focus more on your natural gifts and your natural strengths, your just natural magic, rather than getting hyper focused on doing things that maybe feel really hard and really challenging. Not that we're never going to do hard or challenging things, or we're never going to kind of face our demons or our weakness, but knowing that February is a month where we want to embrace our light a little bit more. And I know it's interesting because I've been focusing on really bringing in the light because I'm so comfortable dwelling in the shadow work and doing that, dealing with the darker aspects of me, that now it's like, but you also have that light side. You also are you also have the good, not just the kind of, well, not that the shadow aspects are bad, but I have that other side. So making sure that you focus on that as well. So let's get some cards going. Let's see what Spirit wants us to know. Oh, wow. So first off, we have Yi, the sun. Weren't we just talking about that? So remembering to take a look at your light, taking a look at those strengths and those gifts. I mean, I just said this message, and then here she is shining her light, saying, let's emphasize that a little bit more. So if I asked you, what are you just naturally good at? What do you wake up? And I've received and offered this many, many times. So some of you are like, oh my God, we've heard this a ton. But what is it that you are just naturally good at? What comes easily? What comes naturally? And then do a check-in, because from what I'm receiving right now, you're spending less time with those qualities and traits and gifts. That you're spending less time with them, and you're focusing on all the other crap. So shift your focus to your light and shine it. That's a beautiful message. Loving that. Okay. Thank you. Cards are flying out. They're letting me know we're here, we're here, we're here. Pick me, pick me. All right. So the next, I then pulled from the tarot, and we got card number 12, Perspective. This is the Hanged Man in traditional tarot. This is the Field Tarot, which is my favorite deck. But we really are being shown a new way of looking at things. And one of the lessons from my own journey a couple of months ago, one of my clients messaged me something, and she's like, how are you? And in the moment I responded to her, for a really long time, I thought that life was upside down. And what I've realized over the past couple of weeks is I was actually just looking at it wrong. I was upside down, not life. And so I needed to come back to center. And that's very much this energy of the perspective card is changing the way we look at things, changing the way we receive our blessings even. And I just recently wrote about this in the Wild-Hearted Collective, how I've been doing a couple of things. I've been paying attention to the results of my actions and what consequences, both good and bad, I'm receiving. And there's been a lot of times where I've gotten unintended yet beautiful consequences that were very much a form of abundance that had gone completely unnoticed previously. So it's something worth exploring. It's something worth looking for. I know it's very present in my life. I've had a couple of conversations with other people who were like, oh, right. Like, I didn't realize that, well, that's not getting me where I intended to go. It's actually gotten me to someplace better. Or I've actually learned a lot that's really useful and going to help me go the distance. So just sit with that. What results are your actions getting you right now? And it might be, I mean, don't get me wrong, there's been a couple of times where I was like, well, this isn't getting me, not only is it not getting me the result I want, but it's getting me kind of a shitty result. And so I stopped doing it. Okay. So it's not just like, just keep doing it anyway and accept the results you're giving. It's very much an internal process of what you want to keep, what is unintended and a blessing, what is unintended and crap, and what you're just going to stop doing in general. Okay. And then we have the Four of Discs, which is all about stability and building a strong foundation in this deck. Now, I typically read the Four of Discs, which is the Four of Pentacles, of having a little bit of a blocked heart, being unaccepting of the abundance that is being bestowed upon you. And when I think about Leo governing the heart chakra and really inviting us to let the high heart be activated, be prepared for that over this in these upcoming, I almost said weeks, so it's going to be a longer timeline. Be prepared to have things within the heart space rattled a little bit, to maybe feel a little heavy-hearted at times, and leaning into the guidance of your guides and just saying, my heart is feeling a lot of density. How can I transmute that? How can I breathe into it and take the fear, the lack, the doubt, whatever it is, how can I take that and transmute it into love and compassion and abundance? So that's a big message. Rather than keeping the heart blocked off, how can you open it up a little bit more? And how can you take what's rising and clear it? A lot of times, what Spirit really wants people to know right now is that a lot of times we make clearing energy a lot harder than it needs to be. Sometimes it can be as simple as acknowledging, oh, I'm feeling a little bit of fear, and then sinking into the body and just breathing that fear out of it. And when you clear the fear, what you'll find is love and trust and just a sense of even excitement in moving forward. That was a big message. Beautiful message as well. Okay, and so now we're going to move into this third card, which is the Eight of Cups, and this is about retreat. Whew. So this is knowing when it's time to move on, knowing when it's time to step aside, to not keep pushing, but instead to maybe take a break, take a water break, stop at a rest stop, if you will. But there is this, so Leo does bring up this energy, as does the full moon, of wanting to be a little bit more externally focused and action focused. But this Eight of Cups is really about going within, letting go of some of the extra actions that you might be taking that perhaps aren't serving a function. And isn't that reflective, or just another little clarifier with this idea of what results are you getting? So know, this is a big message for all of us, know that there are some things that as you do this evaluation of what results you're getting, there are some things you're going to stop doing. So for me, like, just to give you an example, because I think examples are always helpful, I stopped spending an entire day creating the forecast PowerPoint, and I cut out a lot of extra steps that weren't necessarily getting me anywhere. And I'm trying this style now, and it feels really good, and we'll see how it goes. But when something's getting you a result that you don't want, and not necessarily others that serve you, then tweaking, moving on completely, or just reimagining how you do things. Okay, we probably won't have many more cards because this next one really feels like an echo of the preceding messages. And this is the Two of Discs, which is change. It's time to change things up. And this really does feel like a little bit of a, I was going to say softer echo because this is a clarifier and this Major Arcana card is pretty powerful as well. But it's like, this is a harder call to do things a little bit different, to not just keep going through the motions of the day-to-day, but ask yourself, what is it that I need to freshen up? What is it that I need to look at differently? And some of what you need to look at differently is not necessarily the results, but your desire. Are you still aligned with what you want? Do you still want it? Or is it time to even just say, you know what, I've been working at that for a couple years and it's just not what I want. And knowing that that's okay, that that's natural, that that's a sign of growth. Okay. And then what kinds of abundance is coming in for the Divine Feminine, for light workers and healers? I love it. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, so first up we have your path. So the abundance is confirmation, affirmation, and not just from the internal feeling good, but even external manifestations coming in for you is knowing that you are on your path. Because we say, and it's very cliche within the spiritual community, you're never not on your path. But sometimes it's like, well, but I was at one time like way over here and I had to take one giant leap to get on the right path or the aligned path. It's like Spirit is going to be letting you know you're here. Keep walking the walk, keep talking the talk, keep doing what you're doing because it's working. And it's like there's this energy of like it is just a matter of time before things start manifesting, before it's like imminent. That's the word that I'm looking for. It's imminent. The manifestations, the desires, the longings, the culmination is imminent. It's around the corner. So get excited. And that's not from me. That's not just from me like saying, so get excited. That's a transmission. Get excited. It's happening. And the more excited you get, the more it's going to be able to come in towards you. Excitement gets you into receiving mode. It helps you to believe that it's possible. It helps you to stay in the energy of it's coming, boom, it's arrived. Such good energy here. And then we have the Faith card. Would it be a reading if we didn't get surrender, faith, trust, let go of what doesn't serve you? But this time it's the message of faith. Knowing that miracles are coming, knowing that miracles are your birthright, and even affirming maybe down in the comments that miracles are my birthright, or I allow miracles to enter my life. If you feel called, you can drop that. Okay. And what it says, this is so beautiful. I've never pulled this card from this deck, but it says, love is opening me to receive beyond anything I imagine. And that comes back. We're kind of bringing it full circle. It wasn't planned. But that brings me back to this message that I've been a humble recipient of, that sometimes the blessing isn't necessarily the one that we thought, but the one that we thought is indeed coming. So again, it comes back to those results. What abundance are you receiving that perhaps you haven't yet acknowledged or witnessed? Start to take an inventory and know that sometimes that abundance is in how you feel, in how you view life, in the way that things are going for you. Okay. All right, my love. So that is what I have for you. I am loving this energy. Please let me know how it's feeling for you in the comments. And I am so excited. I will see you next week for the feminine forecast. We're going to be doing them every week again, unless Spirit says no need. Okay. But yeah, so thank you for being here. And I look forward to hearing what your results and your unintended abundance, unexpected, unacknowledged abundance is. All right. I love you. Bye.